Hey guys, Tiffany Ofili Porter here, where I discuss all things life after sport. This video is about to be a 2-for-1. We're about to organize my closet a little bit. I have lots of clothes here on the floor, but they're all clean. I've done laundry. I just need to kind of sort them and put them away. But with that, we're going to have a little bit of a chat. We are going to be discussing the 2 ways that I am glowing up this year. 2026, the new year is upon us. We are still in the first month. I did a video previously with my husband about goal setting, but I do want to kind of go into a little bit more detail on what that actually looks like practically in my day-to-day and some practical tips that I've taken to make sure that 2026 is a year that we look back and be like, yeah, we did that. So if you're looking for some inspiration, kind of see what I have going on and some tips on how you can glow up in 2026, make sure you continue to watch this video.
With medals on her chest, she's proven her greatness, knows no rest, representing the countries with pride she stands.
All right, guys, you can't see the ground right here. And that's for good reason, because it looks like a disaster in here, but we're gonna double team this because my daughter is sleeping. My son is downstairs with grandma. My other baby is at school, so we are limited on time, but I wanted to get this information out to you. So let's go ahead and just organize while we talk. So one way that I am going to glow up this year, and hear me out because it might be a little bit counterintuitive. You might not really at first be like understand what I'm saying, but I plan on scrolling less on social media. Now let me explain. I feel like everybody kind of says that, right? It's almost like social media can be a huge time suck and a huge, it can take your energy out and just kind of sometimes make you feel not great about yourself if you allow it. So yeah, that's not necessarily why I'm doing it. I'm just looking at ways that I can maximize my time and get kind of the most productivity done. So I plan on scrolling less, or I guess consuming less content, but creating more content. Now, as a content creator, I absolutely have to be on social media, right? It's literally kind of my job to do social media. And it's funny because I used to have a little bit of imposter syndrome calling myself an influencer or a content creator because of just, I don't know, the way my Nigerian family looked at it in the past, but this past year was the best year in my business. And let's just say I'm not suffering from imposter syndrome anymore for good reason. Like, we are really out here doing this thing. And I was very proud of the amount of revenue and just growth in general that I was able to have in my business in 2026. But with that, I do plan on using my time a little bit more strategically on social media. So yes, I have to engage with my people. I actually enjoy social media. I feel like the algorithm gets me and it kind of feeds me content that really does pour into me and doesn't make me feel less than myself. Like, I don't follow people that make me feel bad or people that I don't like. I just feel like that's actually kind of weird. If you don't like somebody, but you're kind of, monitoring their life and watching what they're doing, but you genuinely dislike them, then do a little bit of a self-evaluation. But anyway, I digress. Essentially, I plan on using social media as a way to kind of know what trends are popping, to know which ways I can engage with my audience in a more effective way, to kind of just see what's going on, and to also checking out my fellow creators whose content I love to support. But kind of away from that, the amount of time that I'm scrolling, I feel like I've kind of transitioned and replaced that to creating. Now, I do believe there's a balance. As a creator, you definitely do need to turn it off sometimes, because constantly consuming, constantly thinking about creating and not being in the moment and not living your life, that's not me. I do think I actually have a very healthy balance of that. But that is one thing that I do plan on doing this year in 2026, is just not being on my phone all the time consuming content. But with that, I plan on replacing that with my audiobooks. Now, last year, I'm going to go and look at the 3 apps that I have between Libby, Hoopla, and Audible, and see how many books I actually listened to last year, but it was quite a bit. So I'm part of a book club with my Jack and Jill moms, and kind of in addition to that, I am a voracious, I won't say reader, voracious audiobook listener. I listen to them on 1.5 to 2 times speed, and I can probably go through a book like every 3-4 days. That's how much, if you get into a good novel, like for me, that's just been such an enjoyable experience. And I will say, I do want to get a little bit more into to the self-development books. In 2025, I was kind of doing one self-help or self-development book, one novel. But last year, I was pretty much doing all novels because it's just like I got into Frida McFadden's book series, and she is such a masterful writer. Right now, I'm currently listening to Americana, re-listening to it. It's actually one of my favorite books that I read back in 2014, but now listening to it 12 years later has been a lot of fun. But basically, that's one thing that I'm doing because I just feel like that's more productive. Like, you get most of the benefits of reading books when you listen to them, and especially if it's like a self-help book, because you're still internalizing the knowledge. And for me, it's just the most practical. I have 3 kids, 3 little young kids. So a lot of the times I am doing stuff. So like right now, for example, if I weren't recording this video, I would be listening to my audiobook and kind of getting through it. So that is one thing that I definitely have been enjoying in 2025 that I continue to kind of even elevate in 2026, because I want to try to see if I can do 52 audiobooks in a year, which will kind of average out to 1 audiobook per week. And the way that I've been going, I do really think that is possible. And let's see, if anybody wants to join this challenge with me, let me know. 2 key things I want to mention is that you can actually get audiobooks and ebooks, if you prefer to actually read them on your phone or your Kindle or your tablet or your computer, for free. There are apps called Hoopla, I think OneDrive and or Libby, one of them that kind of has become obsolete, but you can connect it through your library, and your library, if they're contracted with these apps, you can get the audiobooks for free. You would just borrow them the way you would borrow a book from the library. And that has been a game changer, because sometimes, at least for me, I don't typically reread books. So Audible, where you have to actually pay like a subscription and pay for the books through credits or whatever, essentially it's just paying for it in a backdoor way. But after I read it once, I'm not going to reread it. So I'd much rather get it for free through my library. So definitely look into that if you are somebody that likes to do ebooks or audiobooks and you're able to kind of just get them for free. And sometimes you might have to go on a waiting list if it's a big library system and many people are trying to get like a hot book. But that's why I have both. I have kind of one through different libraries, and it has been a game changer because, like I said, I go through these audiobooks quite regularly. So that is my number one way that I plan on going up this year, spending less time on social media in the consumption side and more time creating and just being very intentional with my very limited time. Even though I do work from home, I'm a stay-at-home mom, work from home mom, however you want to classify me at this point. I do have a little bit more disposable time than the average person. I'm still very, very, very busy. So that is something that we should definitely keep in mind when we are trying to talk about glowing up in 2026. The next thing that I'm doing, which might not come as a shock because I feel like I talk about it all the time. It's a very key part of my journey and just my content here on social media. Oh, I think I might need to wash this. I wore it once, but I didn't wear it for very long, but I'm seeing a couple of stains on it. So we're going to wash it. Anyway, do you guys wash like sweatshirts or jeans every single time you wear them? Even if it's like for a quick 15-minute run outside? Let me know down in the comments if you do that, because I don't. Like, I don't wash my jeans every single time I wear them, for example. But my fitness journey, I feel like I'm always on a fitness journey, but that's okay because it's a continual self-improvement journey that we're on in life, and who doesn't want to continue to better themselves physically as well as mentally and spiritually. But I'm still, I guess, technically postpartum. I'm 6 months. I feel like some people might consider that not really postpartum, but as far as I'm concerned, for that first year, especially when you're breastfeeding, your body is still not its own in the way that it was prior to having that baby. So I am very happily and, gratefully on a fitness postpartum journey. So last time first of all, my first postpartum journey was with my daughter. I was 31 and I was training for the Olympics. So literally by this time, 6 months, I had lost 60 pounds. I was competing back on the track. Like, it looked very different than it looks now at 38 and with 3 children. So I definitely have to continue to remind myself of that because sometimes I try to compare my fitness journey to how it was the first time, and it can get a little bit discouraging if you just want to compare yourself to how it was 7 or 6 years ago, because life happens and life changes. So with my second child, it took me a little bit longer. I kind of got back to like my baby weight by about 1 year and started kind of feeling back like myself, and then got pregnant shortly thereafter. But I digress. Definitely was a different journey. And then this time around, I knew, okay, Tiff, you got to give yourself grace. This time around, I knew that I was not going to have the same journey that I did for my first or my second, because this is my third, and having two kids like under 3 is a lot. So one thing that I was doing with JJ, my second child's postpartum journey, is that I was going to, during the winter months, for example, I was going to the rec center where I would push him in a stroller or wear him and go do my 4-mile walks, my 3-mile walks. I would go up and down the stairs, and I would just kind of incorporate him into my daily workout routine. And this time around, I now have 2 littles to kind of deal with while my oldest is at school, and getting out to, and but granted, my mom has been here helping, which I am so grateful for, because you don't realize how much having that community and having that village really does impact your motherhood journey in general. So shout out to my mom for her help. I definitely do appreciate that. But I'm not going to the rec center. It's just a little bit harder when you have to coordinate more, because now I'm dealing with 2 bedtimes. I'm dealing with 2 lunch times and just all of the things. So one thing that I did do is go get a treadmill. And I know it might seem like, girl, you have a whole workout room down in the basement. Why have you not had a treadmill before now? But I don't know. I never really invested in getting one. It was more so like, we had a bike down there, we have our platforms, and that was good enough. But I found that I wasn't using my platforms or that bike in the way that I thought I was going to, because walking has genuinely become my favorite postpartum just workout. It's easy, it's low impact, but it's effective. And I can listen to my audiobooks, I can listen to my podcasts. It's definitely just been my workout of choice. And I was like, why don't I have a treadmill? Like, going outside and going on my walks is still my favorite. Like, I do prefer having the fresh air and being able to just be outside in nature and just ground myself in that way. But it's cold. We are in the heart of the winter right now. So 40 degrees Fahrenheit is kind of my cutoff, where if it's 30, anything below 40 degrees, I'm not going outside. Like, it's just too much, right? So I ended up getting a treadmill. I got like one of those like foldable walking pads. And the first one I got was a bust. I go pretty fast, so I like to go between 3.5 or 3 to 4 miles per hour. And the first one, when you got to 4 miles per hour, it was making all these crazy noises, and I was like, yeah, nah, that ain't gonna work. So I returned that one and got another one. I talked about it a little bit in my vlog that I did last week. If you haven't seen that, check it out. That was a very raw, candid, behind the scenes day in the life of a snow day. But I really like this other one. It's a little bit more heavy duty. I think I paid $240, $270. I can't even remember how much I paid for it, because I used the credit from the previous one to pay it off and to just add a little bit more. And it is a more robust and more effective treadmill. And getting up to those 4, per miles per hour speeds has been very good, and it hasn't been like a problem. So that has been one thing that I really, really have been doing is, okay, I can't get outside. I can't get to the rec center. We gonna still get this workout in, because again, every day you're making deposits into your goals. And just because I'm no longer an athlete, I'm still very competitive, and I still have my fitness goals, even if they look different than they looked before in the past. So I just want to encourage somebody out there that sometimes you have to get creative, and you have to kind of do things that are gonna force you to be consistent. So yes, I have a workout room downstairs that we built and we were so excited about, but if I'm not getting down there and using it regularly, then it's useless. If I have a gym membership and I'm not going to the gym and actually holding myself accountable, then it's useless. So tell me, Tiff, what ways am I going to force myself to actually do these things? And I literally put the treadmill in our sitting room here in my bedroom. So going down to the basement and having to make it a whole production is not even a problem, because it's literally right there in front of me in my line of vision. And it's like, okay, just get it done. So I'll give you a great example. Yesterday, I wanted to get my 4 miles in. Both kids were napping. I had finished sending out emails, pitching, like working on my business, and I wanted to go and do a session. But my daughter woke up a mile in, and Tiffany of old would have been a little frustrated, like, dang, I wasn't able to get my 4 miles in. What the heck? I would have preferred to, finish it in the way that I wanted to. But I said, you know what? I got a mile in. A mile is better than 0. And yes, it's not necessarily what I would have preferred. But again, some progress is better than no progress. So I'd say, okay, you know what? That's actually one thing that I can do is I can break it up where I might only be able to get a mile in here, a mile and a half in there. As long as I'm being consistent and holding myself accountable throughout the day and throughout the weeks, then eventually it's going to all add up. So later on last night, I was like, okay, you know what? Maybe I can go and get a session, another walking session in at the end of the night, maybe a couple miles while I'm listening to my audiobook. But then kind of once I put the kids down, my husband and I were in bed, it was still kind of early. It was like between 8:45 and 9 o'clock. I was like, should I go do it? I was like, no, I'm exhausted. Tiffany, it's okay to rest, sis. So Jeff and I just laid in bed and we talked and relaxed. And that time was very valuable because my husband works very hard. And kind of when the kids go down to sleep, that's our opportunity to kind of reconnect and, touch base and just enjoy each other. So I chose rest and I chose pouring into just my relationship more than that workout. And that is okay. It's all about give and take, and it's all about just remembering a big picture. And I still got my mile in yesterday after it was all said and done. So definitely want to just give that encouragement that while we are working to glow up this season, it is important to find balance. And I know balance can be such a buzzword because it's like, what really is balance? Like, what does that even mean? But that was a prime example where it's like one part of me could have gone and done that workout, and it's fine. Like, in fact, it would have been great if I could, but I was really tired, and rest is very important in finding that balance. So, with 2026 being here and with us looking to glow up and be the very best versions of ourselves, I do just want to send some reminder out there to anybody that we have to prioritize rest and mental health while we are doing that at the same time. So yes, guys, I have a few more items here. We made some progress. And hopefully you pulled a little bit of encouragement from this video because we are here to help the girls and guys. I don't discriminate. I'm just happy for everybody who is here as a part of the family. You guys' support and just being here means more than you know. But let me know down in the comments if there's anything that you are doing practically in 2026 to glow up, to be the best version of yourself, and to just kind of put your best foot forward. Does it look like going to buy a treadmill and put it somewhere that you're going to have easy accessibility to? Or does it look like taking a step back from social media and prioritizing your mental health and whatever that looks like? Or does it look like you going and downloading those two apps I talked about, Hoopla, Libby, and talking to your local library on how they can help you, get free audiobooks to kind of take away all the time that we might spend scrolling on social media or other things that might not necessarily be uplifting us in the way that we want. But I hope you found this encouraging. Thank you so much for watching, guys, and I will see you in the next video. Peace.